Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a new vlog that is kind of gonna be a mix-up of a few different things. First of all, we have the Haunted Library Bingo, which is a month-long bingo challenge that I am co-hosting with Brianna from Brianna's Bookshelf and Brooklyn from Brooklyn's Library. So along with that, we are also buddy reading Salem slot and doing like a group read and a live discussion for that. So there is still time if you are interested in picking that up and joining us, or if you are interested in participating in the Haunted Library Bingo. I will have all of our announcement videos linked down below so you can get all of the information if you are interested in joining. So part of this vlog is me trying to check off more from my bingo board, and then the other part of the vlog is also me participating in Halloweekend, which is a readathon that is hosted by Books with Lexi. So her announcement video will be linked down below as well. This is for all of the weekends throughout October, like a long weekend from Thursday until Sunday, and there is a fun little game board to go along with it, and basically you are investigating a haunted house. Each of the squares have prompts that go along with them to help you pick your books or to do some more fun fall activities. So I wanted to participate in this. Unfortunately, I did not participate in the first 2 weekends, and I will be participating this weekend and next weekend, and then not the last weekend. I've just been busy, but I still wanted to participate because it seemed fun. So I'm only doing 2 of the weekends out of the 5 that it is running for. But once again, all of that information will be linked down below if you are interested in joining in as well for the few remaining weekends. So basically, we're gonna do some fall stuff. I'm going to try to do some reading, and we're just gonna see where the vlog takes us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We are actually going back in time because I filmed this next section before I even started this vlog. Ignore the inner tube behind me, but I have some time right now. I decided it is time to decorate for Halloween. I only have a few decorations. I don't really have a lot up right now, but I figured we could do a little check-in with the bingo. So this is where I'm at right now. I don't have a full bingo yet, but I am close. So obviously decorating for fall is one of the squares that I'm going to be checking off, but I was also thinking I could put on my Halloween playlist and then check off that square as well. So I don't really have a lot up for Halloween decorations at the moment. I have a little pumpkin. I got a bouquet of flowers today that's kind of like giving fall vibes, and then I have like a little Halloween sign that I put on the front door, and that's pretty much it. I don't really have a lot of decorations actually at the moment, but I do have these little skelly guys that usually hang above the TV, so I'm gonna put them up. And then I also have these skeleton lights that we are gonna put on the balcony, because we actually have a balcony to put lights on this year, which is so crazy. So I might wait for my boyfriend to get home so that we can do it together, because I feel like it'll make the process a lot easier. So that will be fun. And then really the only other thing I have are a bunch of these window clings. So these are the 2 that I previously had, that I've had for a while. You can probably tell, these 2. So I think I'm gonna put these, we have like a sliding glass door to the side, and we're on the 3rd floor, so nobody's gonna see it but us. So I'm just gonna put them so that they're facing in. And then I also at Aldi got this witch one because I thought it was cute. I like the little stars on her skirt. I'm gonna put that one on the door as well. And then I also got these little skeletons from Aldi, which I think I've decided I'm going to put on the bathroom mirror, because I remember my mom always did that. She had like these clings for different holidays, and she would always put a bunch on the bathroom mirror, and it just makes it fun and cutesy. So that is what I am going to do right now. I'm gonna put on my little Halloween playlist and do a little bit of decorating. It won't take very long because, like I said, I really don't have a lot, but I figured I'm gonna do it anyways. I haven't technically started this vlog, but I was like, well, I might as well include it in the vlog, right? So let me get started. Hello! Halloweekend starts tomorrow, so I have to figure out what I'm going to be reading for the weekend. So I have the board up here on the computer, and then I'm just gonna use like a dice roller from Google. So each of the different rooms on the map have a different like meaning, like each color means something different. So I think I'm going to start in the dining room, which is the orange room, because that one just correlates with scary. So I feel like that could apply to almost anything if I'm looking at a horror book to read. So scary cover, scary like content, scary situation, average rating. It could be scary because it's a new to you genre, but I feel like I can make anything fit into the scary prompt. I do have 3 books that I'm hoping to be able to choose from. So the first one I have is How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Also Children of the Dark by Jonathan Jans, and the last one is Edenville by Sam Rebelin. So ideally I would like to pick one of these 3 at least to start with. I don't really know how much I am going to do. So for each of the rooms, in each one there's a ghost and like a piece of equipment, and it's totally optional if you want to visit either of those. I think looking at the layout of like this orange room, I might try to visit the ghost because I feel like that will still be pretty easy to see the ghost and then get to a different room. So I am just going to roll the dice and we'll see what happens. I don't really know what to expect. Okay, I know I'm looking this way because the computer's here. Let's roll. We got a 4. Okay, so 1, 2, and then I'm gonna go down to 3 to visit the ghost. So the prompt for the ghost, let me navigate to that, is to read a book that you can spell scare on the cover or watch Halloweekend reading sprints. So, can I spell scare on any of these? Okay. My question is, okay, I can't do it with any of these books. I was gonna say, because it says you can spell it on the cover. So, I would say that would count like the author's name. I don't know if that's cheating, but none of these work anyways. So what I'm actually going to choose for this is to read Craft Stories I Wrote for the Devil, because I actually did start this tonight. I decided I just want to pick it up and read like a story every now and then in between what I'm reading. So I guess I will be reading this for Halloweekend. Now I do have to move on though, because I still have one more square to move. So I think I'm gonna go straight, try to go straight towards the purple room. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So spot number 4 here, and let me see, the correlating number to that is number 13. So prompt number 13 for the orange room is to read an anticipated book or get a spooky book. This is really good because all of these are anticipated for me, so I can choose like anything here. So How to Survive a Horror Story is one that is, I feel like I should pick this because I think it's due sooner to the library, but I also really want to read Edenville, and I do really want to read Children of the Dark, but I kind of want to read this one a little bit closer to Halloween. I don't know why, I just feel like the vibes will be right for that. So I think I'm gonna put this on the side and choose between both of these. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is pick up How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. This one fits into like the scary category because I'm a little bit scared to read it because I don't know if I will like it. I think it's more of like a horror mystery, at least from like what I've heard and like what the actual pitch of the book is. So that does scare me a little bit because I don't know if I'll like it. So then we have this, obviously I can spell scare, S-C-A-R-E. So these are the 2 that we get for our first roll. So I guess I will see you guys once I am reading and ready to pick another prompt. Like I said, this one I wanted to just kind of like read in between other things, so I will probably, I guess, come back once I finish this one to continue on. That is all for now, so I will see you guys later. So it is now the next day of the Halloweekend reading. I do have some updates. Should I start with the good or the bad? We'll start with the bad. I think I'm gonna DNF this. I got about 40 pages in. I'm like through the second story, and by, I don't know, probably towards the middle of like the second story in here, I started skimming and I just like kind of skim read until the end of that story and then realized like I'm really not enjoying this. Why am I gonna keep reading it? And I was gonna just finish it because it's so short, but like I'm just really not liking it. I just don't care for it. I will be counting, even though it's a DNF, I'm still counting it for that prompt for the Halloweekend. This is a weird one to explain because it's short stories, but there's also like a narrative going on throughout the whole thing. So we have this woman who meets the devil at a Halloween party in 1999, and then this is supposedly like she is writing stories for the devil, but it's a bit different from what I expected. First of all, it's like weird because the stories are like involving her and her life, but like they're like fictional versions of her life, if that makes sense. Like autobiographical fiction where like authors will write their lives but fictionalize it, but like that's what the character is doing in the book. So for example, and I was really confused at first, the book starts off with this woman saying that she met the devil at a Halloween party in a pop-up art space in 1999. I'm like, okay. And then I get to the next page, which is the start of the first story, and it says, I met the devil at a Halloween party in a closed down store space in Manhattan in 1981. And I was like, wait a second, didn't we just say that they met in 1999? Like, what's going on? But now I understand that these are like the real chapters, like what's actually happening, and then this is like the short stories that she is writing supposedly for the devil, but the devil's not really like a big character in here, at least from what I've read so far. Like we get the introduction of like how they met at this party, but other than that, it's like, I don't know, it's more just like the vague idea that the devil is there. He's not really like a very prominent character, and this also is just not at all what I was expecting or hoping for. I thought it was going to be surreal and speculative. It is classified as horror, and I don't understand. Obviously, like I'm DNFing it pretty early on, so I don't know like how far into horror territory like the rest of the stories are gonna go, but like it's very political and like talking about real world issues, and references to Trump and immigration, and like Fox News, and it's just not what I was hoping for when I went into it. I'm not really enjoying the stories themselves. Like the first one was interesting because it's her like telling, I guess, a false story of how she met the devil, and I thought that was interesting, but then the next one is just like, I just didn't really care for it. And rereading the synopsis, like it just doesn't sound intriguing to me, and having started it and not really caring about what's going on, I'm just going to DNF that one. But How to Survive a Horror Story is going very well. I am about 100 pages through this. I am actually on page 103, so like almost exactly 100 pages through, and I'm really liking it. I was a little bit apprehensive at first, like I said, because it's like a horror that's like a horror mystery, and is kind of has a very like typical mystery plot line where we have this group of authors who has been called to the manor, I guess if that's what you would call it, the mansion of another famous horror author who has passed away. They all get letters that are like, oh, there's something has been left to you in this person's will, come and collect it and like stay for the weekend. And so they all show up there. There's 7 of them, right? Yeah, 7 of them, and they all don't understand why they're there, but they all are connected to this man in some way. And then we find out that what has been left for them is a game for them to play, and they basically have to go through the house and solve riddles in each room. They have like 1 hour to solve each riddle in each room, and if they don't solve the riddle, then the house is going to consume one of them. So far, just those like 100 pages is really just like the setup that we're getting, because we get introduced to each of the different characters. We get a chapter from each different character. We get the setup and the atmosphere of the house, and then the idea of the game. So where I ended, they had just gone through their first riddle and had the first person picked off to die. But I'm really liking it so far. I like all of the I don't like all of the characters. I like following all of the characters. And I feel like they are all very well developed. Sometimes it's really difficult in a book like this when you have so many different perspectives, especially in the beginning, getting that set up. Like, it can be really hard, I feel like, to keep the reader engaged in the story and caring about what's going on, and then also being able to differentiate between each of the different characters, give them each a different character voice. And I think that's something that the book has accomplished very well so far. Like, I can very clearly distinguish each of these characters in my mind. I have some that I like, I have some that I absolutely do not like, but I'm finding it fun to follow all of them, and I feel like their personality comes across very strong, very well in the way that the chapters are written. I also am really enjoying the plot of the story so far. There are definitely some weird things going on in the mansion, and I've heard people say that this is kind of like fun and silly as far as the horror elements go, and I can definitely see that, because like I said, it's literally like a house that eats people, so it does kind of have like that classic horror feeling, but it's also a little bit silly. The characters are definitely very like stereotypical at some points, but I don't know, just like the mixture of it all, I'm really enjoying. I like the writing so far. I like the setup that we've got. I like the way that the mansion was described and the scene was set, and I'm having a great time. I'm really excited to keep reading this one, so I'm so very happy about that. Also, I just want to take a minute because like the inside of this book actually is so pretty. Like, first of all, this is the first page that you open up to is the house, and then just like this pattern I think is so interesting. And then this is what I really like, is it gives you this kind of graphic for each of the characters with their name, and so every chapter that you go to, it has like their little side profile silhouette with their name. I don't know, I just think that's so fun, and I feel like it really helps to be able to picture the characters. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm going to continue reading this tomorrow, and I will let you guys know my further thoughts. Hi. Hello. It is the next day. I have finished the book, so I'm gonna give you guys my review for this, and then also pick the next book or do the next prompt to get the next book. Let's start with this. I literally just finished it like a couple of minutes ago, so this is all very fresh in my mind. I think, I don't know what my official rating is, but it kind of feels like a 4-star because I did really enjoy it. It was definitely one where when I wasn't reading it, I was like thinking about it and really excited to get back into it and pick it up again. Really intrigued with the premise. I really enjoyed following all of the characters. And then I also like the direction that it went at the end, because there was like a couple of unexpected things that came into play that I really liked, that, you know, I just wasn't expecting, because they were unexpected, a little bit maybe a twist. Just the way that it wrapped up I really liked. I just thought that this was really fun. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you are somebody who is like primarily a mystery thriller reader and you are dabbling a little bit in horror, or it's not like you're not super duper big into horror but you still like the mystery genre. Then I feel like this could work because it is horror and it is a little bit silly at times, just with the premise of like the house that is consuming people, but it's also mostly a mystery, and it is that like classic story of a group of people that are getting picked off one by one. It also has like, you know, the game element to it with the solving of the riddles, which I really liked. I will say like the riddles were very easy to figure out, but I feel like that was intentional with the story and like with the characters and the story that is being told about the characters. But it also at times does kind of have like a classic horror story feel, with the description of the manor, and then also just like the whole idea of the haunted house kind of trope, and like the house being a character within the story, which I really liked. Once again, I love the way that it wrapped up, and I don't know, I just like it fully had my interest throughout the entire story, and I was really excited every time I got back into reading it. So I do have very positive thoughts towards this one. Would recommend. I see why some people aren't liking it, like because it is a little bit silly and ridiculous at times, but I liked it. That one really worked for me. So now we are going to move my little skeleton guy and get another book. So these are the three that are at the top of my radar. Again, we still have Edenville and Children of the Dark. And then I also threw in One Bad Night and Other Stories, which is the short story collection that I just recently got from Aardvark. This features a lot of authors that I love, so I would definitely like to get to that one hopefully soon. But I feel like out of these three, the one that I feel like I'm most leaning towards is Edenville. I don't know why, I just feel like it'll be a quick, easy read, and it also like is intriguing me. So those are my top picks, but I do have other options to choose from. So now I'm going to face the computer and I have to roll my dice and move my little skeleton. So step number one is to roll the dice. I think that I want to do like a 2 dice roll. So instead of using 1d6, I would roll like 2, but because it's virtual, I just have to click it twice. Just because I want to make sure that I can get through the room before the end of the Halloween weekend. So I think I'm gonna go towards the purple room. I don't know, maybe I'll roll and then we'll figure out where I'm going. Okay, so I'm gonna roll twice. So our first roll, oh, is a 6. So I don't think I need the second roll. Okay, let's go with that. Let's just go with that. You know, I'm making stuff up as we go. So I can go towards the purple room, I can go towards the green room, and I also have enough to get to the red room at the top. So I'm gonna look at what each one coordinates with to kind of see what I'm feeling like for the next time. So if I go to the purple room, that is haunted. If I go to the green room, that is dark. And if I go to the red room, that is creepy. I'm also looking at the layout of the rooms and how easy those will be to get through for the next Halloween weekend. So I think the green room is the hardest to get through. Well, I guess I could just like exit from there because I'm only doing this weekend and the next weekend, so I don't necessarily need to continue to another room from that green one. And then I could hit the ghost if I do that. I feel like I could hit the ghost pretty easily. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go towards the green room, and then that way next time, because these are the only 2 weekends that I'm participating in, next time I will just exit from the green room. So I'm gonna move my little skelly guy. We really only need to go 2 spaces because I can't go through the door. So let me see what number prompt that spot correlates with. That spot is prompt number 19. So prompt number 19 is to read a book that is a continuation or do an anticipated fall activity. This makes things a little tricky because none of these are a continuation. Is this kind of cheating if I, okay, listen, because I want to read Edenville because I read a short story collection by Sam Rebelin, and his short story collection that I read takes place in the same world as Edenville. So technically, like, the short story collection would be the continuation of this novel, but because I read that one first, then for me, this would be the continuation. Because I could do the activity prompt and then roll again and then move somewhere else and do a book prompt that way. Or I could just choose Edenville because it is sort of a continuation because it's taking place in the same world of something else that I've read from this author. You know what? In my opinion, that counts. Okay, listen. I just want to read Edenville, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to read this. This will be my last book for Halloweekend. As far as my Haunted Library bingo progress, I haven't really done very much on that this week. The only other thing that I checked off was to join a reading sprint because I was a part of reading sprints with Brooklyn and Brianna last week. We are doing reading sprints again tonight, which is why I'm so excited to like pick a new book because then I can read it during the reading sprints. Actually, I do have something else that I can check off of the bingo, which is play a spooky game. I don't play very many games, but my boyfriend and I have been playing Overcooked together, and we finished that game. So we picked up Overcooked 2, and that starts off kind of with like a Halloween setting. You're like in a graveyard and it's like dark and spooky and there's skeletons and stuff around. So that was not even intentional, but I'm gonna say that that counts as a spooky game. So with that square covered, this is what the bingo board is looking like right now. I have started Salem's Lot, but I'm only like 60 pages in, so I'm not gonna cover that square yet. I have not made, wait, I'm trying to think. I work with seniors with dementia, and sometimes we do color together, but I don't think we've colored anything for Halloween yet. I think I might be coloring Halloween pictures with them tomorrow. So maybe I could check that off. I have not listened to a podcast. I have not found a movie or show with vampires yet to watch. I haven't watched a Halloween movie. I've watched horror movies, but I haven't watched anything specifically centered around Halloween because I'm waiting. I want to watch Trick or Treat, and then I also want to watch like Halloween, and then I'm also thinking I might rewatch Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2, but I will probably do that closer to Halloween. I have not carved a pumpkin yet. And post your current read. Have I done that? I don't think so. I think there was like a story template somebody tagged me in, and I post my current read there, but I don't really want to count that. Anyways, this is where the bingo board is for now. So I have some work ahead of me still that will be in the next vlog, finishing the bingo board, hopefully, fingers crossed, because I do want to carve a pumpkin, but I'm thinking right now the plan is probably to carve a pumpkin on Halloween night. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to read Edenville and keep you guys updated on that as we finish out the first Halloweekend. Well, it's not the first Halloweekend. It's the first one that I'm participating in. I'm now on page 56. It's starting to pick up. It's interesting, but there was a very weird scene that just happened that I don't understand. So the main character in here is like an author, and I don't know. These people from Edenville come to like offer him a job, and this lady comes and she like doesn't have a hand, and they say that she just like has a stump, and then she like goes up to this guy and was like, "Oh, your book was so good. Can I touch you?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "I want to touch you with my stump." And she like takes him into this dark hallway, and then like it was so weird. I was like, what the heck? And then she offers him a job, and for some reason he accepts it, and he's not going to eat it.
Wait, offers him a job?
Yeah.
Doing what?
I don't know, working at a school, I guess, in Edenville. And I'm like, what? This stranger comes up to you and is like, "Can I touch you with my stump in this dark hallway?"
What?
Ignore my wet post-shower hair. I don't know what is going on with me, but I'm going to DNF Edenville, which really sucks because I'm over 100 pages into it. I'm on page 123, but I just don't know how to feel. So this was never really a book that was on my radar because I feel like when it came out and people were reading it, I was seeing not the greatest reviews for it, so I never really had it in my mind to read. And then I picked up that short story collection without realizing that it was the same author, and ended up really enjoying that short story collection, as I've mentioned previously. And so that was like what gave me the drive to pick this up, because those were weird and strange and unsettling, and I was like, well, maybe that's like people just don't like this because it's just weird. And I was expecting like everything that I got in the short story collection and enjoyed about it. I was like, this is perfect because Edenville is going to be that in like a long form novel, and it's just going to be so strange and unsettling and just a fun read, and I'm not getting any of that so far. It's honestly just been a little bit annoying to read at times, because our main character is just being so stupid. But the thing is, like, they're self-aware and they know that they're being stupid. So this starts off, what is our main character's name? Campbell and his girlfriend Quinn are the two people that we are following, but Campbell is an author, technically. He's been like an aspiring author, and then one night he has this crazy nightmare and he wakes up and he's like, I need to write about this, and this nightmare like gives him so much inspiration, and he writes this whole novel called The Shattered Man and publishes it, and is pretty well known in like not well known, but like it did pretty well for being like a debut little horror novel. And he has not been able to write anything since then, but we come to learn that like the nightmare that he had is connected with Edenville and what happened in Edenville. And so once the people there that are protecting the secret of Edenville get wind of this novel and they read it and they realize like what's going on, they travel there to offer Campbell a job so that he can move to Edenville and they can like keep an eye on him a little bit better. All of this, you know, pretty early on, like this is all part of the setup of the book, so don't worry about spoilers. But okay, first of all, there was that weird scene that you guys saw me talk about in the reading sprints, but like the whole premise of like these people coming and offering him a job like on the spot for absolutely no reason. They're like, we want you to come and be a writer in residence at this college, and like also kind of mentor like some of the students there. But it's like, why? Like they know, because they have this conversation about it. They're like, this is weird, right? That they would just like offer me a job. Like this is, you know, we're those people in the start of a horror movie right now that are being really stupid if we accept this. And they know that, and then they do it anyways. And then now they're in Edenville, and his girlfriend Quinn is like uncovering all of these secrets about Edenville and is like really freaked out and wanting to leave. She never wanted to go there in the first place. And they literally have a conversation where she's like, you are being that guy in the horror movies right now that is dismissing everything that the woman says and being blind to it and refusing to leave and just stay even though there's clearly something wrong. So it's like they're self-aware that they are playing into these like horror tropes, and they're self-aware that they're being stupid and that they're being infuriating, but then they continue to be stupid and infuriating, and I just like, I don't know, I just feel like I can't do it anymore. I'm also like, I don't know, like I feel like this author, maybe his writing, like what he's trying to accomplish here is just better suited for short form stories like the story collection that I read. I enjoyed the way that was written, but here I'm not liking the writing in this. I don't know, it just like I can't even pinpoint like what it is, but I'm just not really enjoying it. I did pick up the audiobook for a couple of chapters, switched over to that to see if that would make a difference, and I felt the same way listening to the audiobook. So then I went back and physically read a couple of chapters, and I'm just like, there is no sense of enjoyment or excitement that comes to me when I think about picking this book up and continuing it. And so I feel like I just need to stop. I just need to put it down. Will I read from this author again if he makes more short stories? Possibly. But this one, just not working for me. Would recommend the short story collection still. I do stand by that, but I'm removing the bookmark. It's officially over with Edenville, which is so sad. My heart just breaking in half because you guys have heard me talk about it the entire video of how excited I was to read it, and yeah. So with that brings us to the end of the vlog, which I feel like maybe is a good thing, because now that I'm putting that down, I can pick up Salem's Lot and make some progress on that, because the live show for that is this upcoming Sunday. So that is posted on my channel. I will have that linked down below if you want to go set a notification for it. Hopefully you can join us. You've still got time to squeeze in the book like I am going to be doing. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next installment in this, where I am trying to finish my bingo board and then also participating in Halloweekend this upcoming weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time.